get started. Kazarian versus Samoa Joe. Now, Kazarian won by fluke pin, is what I called him, because that's what it really is, a fluke pin. The roll-up pin is what people call it. What I call it is fluke pin. It was a okay match. Kazarian did some pretty good moves, like the springboard leg drop and etc. and all that. I'm not gonna get into that too much, but there was a botch. Like there was a botch on commentary by Jeremy Borash, who he's a replacement for Taz, actually, which is weird. They said Taz was on business for the night. He will be back this Thursday, actually. There was a Austin Aries was doing a CM Punk type promo. He was talking about the real wrestling fans and the so-called wrestling fans. He was talking about how real wrestling fans pay to see a pay-per-view, but he's talking about how the so-called wrestling fans actually watch from a legal stream. Now, I am a real wrestling fan. I don't just follow pro wrestling, but I follow amateur wrestling and MMA and so on and so forth. And I take great offense to that. I know he's a heel, but when you make it real, when you make it personal, that really offends me. I am a real wrestling fan, but I didn't have any money for this pay-per-view. If I did, this would be the one pay-per-view that I would buy. Now, Doug Williams versus, Doug Williams, he had a open challenge, and his challenger is, drumroll, what the fuck, is that John Morrison? No, it actually wasn't John Morrison. He was announced as Mark Hoskins. I have no idea who that is. But he came out with a John Morrison type entrance, like with the fur coat, and he did like that, and he had the sunglasses and everything. And it's weird. Great technical match though. There was one part that I didn't like, and it was a pretty much a what the fuck moment, if you could call it that. Mark Hoskins performing the RKO, which, they wouldn't blatantly, they wouldn't call it an RKO in their organization, because you can't just call moves like that. Before all this started though, before the Austin Aries promo and before the Doug Williams thing, I should have said this first, but Shark Boy did his Stone Cold impression. I have no idea why. Now, shouldn't Eric Young be focusing on defending his title rather than hanging out with people like Shark Boy, who only tend to make cameo appearances nowadays? Really. Speaking of which, Jen Me versus Eric Young and Shark Boy. Now, Eric Young and Shark Boy won due to a stunner by Shark Boy. Go figure. And then Eric Young pulled off some sort of wheelbarrow neckbreaker move. I have no idea what that was called. They called it a wheelbarrow, whatever. Pretty good, but Eric Young at the beginning of the match displayed his mental disability by actually, he displayed it by doing the little tag, thing with Shark Boy, all that crap. Jinmi was pretty much doing all the good high flying stuff. All that. Ultimate X is the next match. 4 men: Alex Shelley, Amazing Red, and Robbie and Shannon Moore and all that. Now, I'm not particularly a fan of Robbie E, nor am I a fan of any of the garbage that comes from Jersey, but I do like Alex Shelley and Amazing Red and all that. I'm not sure if I respect Shannon Moore anymore. Amazing Red did some sort of kick on Robbie E at one point, and he did some kind of seizure move. Like, what the fuck was that? Just sell your move and don't be so dramatic about it. He did the same thing later on. Like, he then later Amazing Red did a drop kick to him when he tried to get the X Division X from the rope and everything. And then Robbie, he just did the seizure thing again. Like, what is wrong with you? So, needless to say, the veteran Alex Shelley won. Didn't see that coming at all. Jerry Lynn versus RVD. Now, this had some very good moments. RVD and Jerry Lynn doing some great acrobatic moves and all that, countering each other very well. RVD even pulled out one of his oldest moves, which is very rare, the flying crescent kick from the apron, which is rare for you to see that anymore. There were some very good spots, like when RVD, the back of his head landed on the steel chair because Jerry Lynn did some sort of rolling power bomb off the top rope. Needless to say, RVD, in typical fashion, won by only using one finisher. Oh, and by the way, if I didn't mention this already, Kazarian won and Doug Williams won. Both by fluke pins. You don't have to call them that, I call them that. Quite possibly match of the night is for the X Division contract. Austin Aries, Jack Evans, Zema Ion, and Low-Key. Now, I wanted the new guy to win, but it wasn't like that. Austin Aries won the contract. There were some good high-flying moves in this too. A lot of good spots. Can't name them off the top of my head though for some reason. Abyss and Brian Kendrick. Kendrick won. There was a point in the match where he tried to do sliced bread and it got countered. And it was turned into a shock treatment backbreaker. And then later on the referee got knocked out, and so Brian Kendrick conveniently did sliced bread after the referee was knocked out. It came up to about an 11 count, really. Then Eric Bischoff goes running his mouth and gets knocked out. The whole Immortal comes out and almost ruins the whole pay-per-view. Then here comes the cavalry. The entire X division comes to save the day, and once again, the title is won by fluke pin, roll-up pin, what other people would call it. And the last match, AJ Styles versus Chris Daniels. AJ Styles won this match actually, but it was hard for him. It was a tough match for him. Lots of good moves. Christopher Daniels did his version of a suicide dive, and each of them did one of their finishers, both kicked out, and the match ended with I think they call it a spiral tap is what they call it, I don't know, and so the match ended like that, where AJ Styles won. It was a very good match though, very good high-flying match, and yeah, so that's it for me. I am your YouTube General, Rebel 180, signing off. And for those of you who actually care, please rate at the top. Subscribe at the top, rate at the bottom, and also comment at the bottom if you care. But obviously, if you don't care, you're probably gonna watch this. You're probably gonna click on this video, then exit out. So there's no need for me to try to convince you to do something you obviously don't want to do. So I'll see you later.